Washington, looks like the Palisades, looks like Lahaina. You know, the government and electric companies are notorious for burning down cities. And we're going to talk about that today. So someone will probably say it's climate change, but let's read this one. Forest fire as a military weapon. U.S. Department of Agriculture. So let's just say the government didn't do it, but a smart meter did it. Do you see how that house is burned right here, but these plants are all perfectly green? And those trees? That's because when smart meters catch on fire, that's exactly what they look like. See all these? All over the country. 90 million smart meters across the country. And it just so happens the city that burned was a smart city, with grids, with smart meters, and everything interconnected from the electric company. And if you remember all those fires in California, Palisades lawsuit claims that faulty PG&E smart meters started their house fires. Then someone might say, well, I work for the electric company. They would never do that. Former meter reader testifies at California Public Utilities Commission, Santa Rosa, California, 2012, smart meters cause fires. And let's just show one of the smart meters catching on fire and then the whole house burning down. Yep. Yeah, it's interesting that this was kind of wiped off the internet. You know, when you try to type in smart meter fires, it'll say, those don't happen. Here's the evidence, and this is the evidence that gets wiped off the internet so people aren't aware, so that they can blame climate change, and the government can keep setting up 15-minute cities, and the electric companies can keep putting out smart meters.
Hey guys, welcome back to Starkey Farmstead. So Steve and I were just talking. We're flying into Seattle August 18th, like early afternoon. We are thinking about getting up on August 19th and driving towards Spokane, Washington, where the fires are. So I looked at a map. It'll be about 4 hours from where we're staying one way. We have the time. If you guys are interested in us going to Spokane and trying to speak to people, maybe doing some videos, doing some form of missionary work, let us know. If you want to row in the boat for that, look at the top of comments. It'll be just like we did Maui. We'll go in, we'll talk to people, we'll do some testimonies with them, and we will pass out cash. That's what we did in Maui. It was the best thing we could have done. In fact, still to this day, this channel, what we did, you and I together, we were one of the only people that actually handed out cash money to the victims. People wanted to pass out, you know, recovery bags and Oprah Winfrey with her pillows, but people need money, cash, in situations like this. It takes FEMA and the state sometimes 7 to 14 days to activate funds for people to be able to afford hotels, food, replace clothing, get dog food, and those things are very needed. So if you're interested in us going and doing on-ground reporting and passing out funds to people, look at the top of comments, just put fire victims in the memo when you do it. It is going to add a day to our trip, and it's, like I said, it's 4 hours one way out of our way. So we talked about it earlier. He has appointments with his neurologist today in New Orleans, so we're off. We're at home running errands, getting ready to go have them check Georgie and his brain. And I said, you know, Steve, I think you and I should head down to Spokane, just like we did Maui. We're going to be too close not to go and see the devastation ourselves. Talk to people in person, because that's how you always find out the truth. You ask the people that were affected, right? Because the mainstream media is owned by the government, and a lot of large social media platforms are also owned by the government. So the only way that you and I can be effective as a group to help people that are in need is to go in person, talk to people, and pass out funds that we raise. I know I'm not giving you guys a lot of notice. The fires just happened, right? They're still going on across their homes at this point that we've heard of. So again, if you're interested in rowing in our boat for that, for us to go down there and speak to people, look at the top of comments, multiple different ways. If you're going to drop something in the mail, please do it in the next 2 or 3 days, or it will not make it to me before I leave on the 18th. I'll be leaving my home at like 5 a.m. And then we fly into Seattle, we pick up our vehicle, we'll go to our Airbnb, unpack, repack, and head to Spokane on August 19th, if you guys get in the boat with us, because that is a totally different direction than we were going to be heading originally. But with the fires, we feel like we need to. In fact, I guess if we raise enough money and can work it out, I possibly could move our tickets to the 17th, giving us an entire extra day to travel down there that we weren't expecting to go. So it's gonna be up to you guys. I'm leaving it up to y'all. But I wanna show you some clips of scenes and things that I'm seeing from Spokane that is making the hair on the back of my arms stand up. The blue garbage can's not burning. If you've never seen what DEW weapons do, they run on a frequency that does not burn blue. So if you're not aware of that, there are videos in my Where Are the Children playlist from the fires in Maui. When I was originally exposed to the fact that there were weapons of mass destruction, that they could, sit in a boat off the coast and catch things on fire.
A lot of odd things start to stand out. Another one here, as you can see, this place completely torched, glass melted, everything else, but the trash cans just a few feet away, still standing A-OK. Nothing wrong with them. You can also make note that Spokane is part of an initiative that has had over 450 smart meters put into these neighborhoods alone, maybe even more. What people are seeing is driving through neighborhoods and are asking, how did this house even catch fire when all the trees and everything around it are still standing? They're good questions to ask, especially when you've got homes completely taken out and the one standing right next to it not getting hit. So did they have a smart meter? Questions that I have, and do you have any information on all of this?
My thing is, I want to speak to people to see if they saw the fog 1 or 2 days before the fires in Spokane, like people saw in Maui coming down the mountain. I think that was some form of either hallucinogenic to confuse people and put them to sleep, or it was some form of accelerant. But I spoke to people in Maui when we were there that fog rolling down, they were caught in it. So I'm curious if that is also happening in Spokane. But I showed Steve the map earlier. I said, here is Spokane and there are fires, different fires, ringing that entire city. I said, you didn't tell me that's natural. Like there's a fire here, and then a fire here, and then a fire here, and they're all different fires. And they just ring the entirety of Spokane. So I think it's time we put boots on the ground. Like I said, if possible, I could move the plane tickets up a day or two to give us extra time to travel there and stay a night or two on the outskirts in an Airbnb and see what's happening a little better than just being able to spend one day. But that's going to be up to you guys. What y'all want us to do, how deep you want us to go into digging into these fires. We love you guys. I'm going to show you some clips. Like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Let's get the news out. Steve and I will go. You guys want us to?
Yeah, sorry. Sorry, officer. The cops are like, whatever. Hold your nose.
Hang on a second.
We're almost out of here.
Yeah, we're almost out of here.
Oh my god. How do we get out of here?
We're not here.
We're going. Why not seriously? We're going.
Yeah, let's get the hell out of here.
We're going right now. We're going. Alright, we'll look at this. We're going. We're going home.
End of Journey Street. It's gonna go. That was gonna go. That was a beautiful house. Beautiful house. Beautiful. Только house. It's crazy. Только построили дом. Last week мы здесь гуляли. Wow. Весь ром. I'm not sure if I can go this way. Wow. Горячо. Садиться. Вернись. Я взгляну. Видел? Что ты здесь видел? Wow. It's crazy.
Fires are not real. Not if you're paying attention, and I've talked about this many times. People hear about wildfires and brush them off, but you have to follow the money and understand history, and pay more attention to what these fires are actually burning. Once again, this is not a Spokane issue, it's not a Lahaina issue, nor California, nor any other country getting blasted right now. It's a you and I problem, whether you see it or believe it. And the most telling aspect of these fires is that the homes are burning. Not the trees, not the pine trees, which should go up in flames very quickly. The homes, people's lives. Now I know it sounds crazy, but they're doing a few things, if not all at once. First, they spray metals across your atmosphere, drying everything up and making it all that more flammable. Then these things. I'm not going to say it because I've been getting shadow banned lately. And those little smart meters on your home may be starting fires by oversurging the units and burning them from the inside out. That's why the pictures look like this. Or maybe it's the cats being set on fire and lets it roam. I don't know. Maybe it's all three. One thing I know for sure is that these are not natural fires destroying people's lives. It's them destroying people's lives. Just like the invasion of Spain, it's all planned. It's the same pattern over and over and over again. Burn the land they want, make it impossible to rebuild through red tape, and then land grab the thing. It's happening time and time again, and at a greater pace than it ever has. Lahaina needed their smart city. Same with Cali. Spokane needed their surveillance center, and there was a major pushback. When the people object, they burn it, and they don't care. Much like everything else they do. Let's go.
So depending on how much we raise for the fire victims, folks, will depend on how early we roll out for this trip, whether we leave August 15th or not. Stephen and I are still going to go in person on August 19th to the Spokane area and pass out the money that we raise for the fire victims and do as much recording and boots on ground investigative journalism that we can do. But you guys know the routine. We cannot do it unless we do it as a friends and a family type thing. So you can look at the top of comments. I think at this point, we have to be very honest. Every time a city of this size begins to push back against the plans of the elite and the World Economic Forum, we see the same playbook over and over again. So we are not helpless. If everybody sends $1, we can take $126,000 down to Spokane, Washington, and at least help people, help animal rescues. We can make sure the elderly have what they need for at least medication. We all know it takes FEMA weeks to get set up and get money to those in need.
Mama, what